What is the most Karen thing a Karen has ever done to you, personally? Part 2. I used to work at a fast food in a theme park when I was 18. Karen held up the line cause she was demanding us to assemble a food for her daughter, which we aren't allowed to do cause we go by a menu. My daughter can't have that. Well, what can you do for me? Do you want her to starve? Are one of the most irritating lines I ever encountered. Asked for my manager's personal cell phone number to complain that I, 7 months pregnant at the time, would not carry a refrigerator that she had not paid for in the cost of her room up to her second story room. We did not have an elevator rather than just accept an upgrade for free because she didn't want to unpack her stuff. She refused to believe we had rooms without fridges and I was just being fat and lazy. When I refused to give her the cell phone number, she asked for corporate's number. I wrote it down on a sticky note with a smiley face. She came down later and asked to move rooms. I made her pay the difference. I used to work retail, so I have come across my fair share of Karens. They were a huge reason why I went back to school and no longer work as a cashier. Anyways, one day while I was manning the registers with a few other co-workers of mine, I had a massive nosebleed right as I was finishing a transaction. I grabbed a tissue and quickly excused myself to run to the restroom so I could try to get it to stop bleeding. This meant that I couldn't say goodbye to Karen and give the little spiel about how I was oh so grateful for her shopping with us. Anyways, after about 10 minutes, I was finally able to get my nose back under control and headed back to the registers. I saw her waiting to the side with a scowl on her face, arms crossed over her chest, the whole 9 yards. She proceeded to scold me about how rude I was for not saying goodbye. After I apologized and explained that I had an unexpected nosebleed, she told me I should have tried holding it in and that the customer comes first. My brain was literally after that. My favorite Karen moment is so similar to this. I had noticed my nose running while I was ringing her up and didn't realize it was blood until a drop fell onto my white shirt. I very awkwardly tried to hide my face as we finished the transaction. No idea if she noticed originally or not, and then bent down behind the register to search for something to staunch the flow. My nose was really starting to stream by the time I found the tissues. I stood up facing away from the counter so as not to unintentionally traumatize someone and made a beeline for the bathroom. I hadn't taken 3 steps when Karen, who I hadn't realized was still standing there, started shrieking at me about my lack of proper customer service and something about how I should have offered to help her to her car. Blah blah blah. I spun around, dropping the tissues from my face. I apologized and enthusiastically offered to help her with her bags, extending a bloody hand, while blood from my nose oozed into my smile and down my cheek. She was so taken aback that she knocked over 2 displays in her rush to get out the door. My sister-in-law is the biggest Karen I've ever met, complains in almost every restaurant we have gone to, but this one time they were moving house and my bro asked me to help. I was staying at their place for the delivery truck that was to arrive early in the morning. We were having drinks, and my bed/mattress was on the living room floor. At around 1:15 I said I think I'm going to go to bed. She replied, "Are you kicking me out of my own living room?" Not realizing she is crazy, I joke, "I guess I am." She said no one does that, and even though she had finished her last drink, made herself 2 cups of tea. She didn't go to bed till after 2:30. She told me the next morning she stayed up to show no one tells her what to do. I was a supervisor at Cost Plus World Market. A Karen comes in one night pushing a cart full of obviously used throw pillows and asks to return them. Of course she has no receipt and instead wants us to just look her up in the system. Except she refuses to provide her information for us to try to look her up. She starts yelling at my cashier, and that's when I stepped in to tell her very politely and calmly that she either needs a receipt or needs to provide us her name and phone number. She starts screeching and screaming about how we are assholes and she'll get us fired and blah blah blah. Then she demands an apology from the president of the world. I'm certain she meant the president of World Market, but in her bleached hair fury she said the president of the world, and I barely held it together as I calmly offered her the corporate feedback number. She wouldn't take it and instead walked out of the store still yelling and without her cart of dirty pillows. She returned about 20 minutes later, quietly apologized, and took her pillows with her. We never heard from her again. Told me I couldn't work on my car in my own garage at noon because she didn't want my fast looking car to influence her sons to be hooligans like you. Working retail one afternoon, and here comes Karen with a return. At first glance it's no big deal, just coming in to return a shirt. She walks up to the register, hands me the receipt to start processing, and we exchange a pleasant greeting. I take the shirt out of the bag to examine it, and it is beyond disgusting. There were brown sweat stains all over it, from the pits to the stomach to the shoulder. It looked like whoever wore it rolled in mud or some nonsense. I proceed to tell Karen that I cannot return the product because it had clearly been used, and that only unused and resellable items could be returned. Karen threw a fit, started screaming at me and accusing me of calling her a liar and whatnot. I hold up the shirt and point to the brown pit stains and say, "Karen, can't you see this stain? Oh man, did that make it worse." She continues making a huge scene and demands to see the manager. Newsflash, Karen, I'm the manager, and I'm not budging. After 20 or so minutes of complaining, she finally leaves saying she'll be complaining to corporate and getting me fired and blah blah blah. Fast forward a few days. A guy walks into the store, finds the first store associate he can, and immediately asks for me by name. Oh, here we go again. Anyway, my associate brings the guy over to where I'm standing, and I politely greet him. The guy spends the next 10 minutes apologizing for his crazy wife Karen verbally abusing my staff and I a few days prior. Apparently, the guy went to the beach and did some type of CrossFit/HIIT training class in the sand. Karen knows all of this. She was at the class with him. The guy ended up not liking the shirt for some reason, and Karen thought she could pull a fast one on us by making a scene. Think again, Karen. The mother of a girl I went to school with comes into the shop I work at 5:58 p.m. We close at 6. Lights are half off. Front door is closed. Roller door is half down. And goes, "Hi, my name." I'm just running in to grab a few things. Before I can tell her not to, she's gone into the aisles. My manager comes over and goes, "What are you doing? We have to be done by 6. He went to find her. She's already got a basket full of things going. "Where are the capsicums? Can I just grab?" Keep in mind this is a fruit shop. Half the items come off the shelves and into the cool room. My manager is literally the nicest guy ever and agrees to ring up her items as long as she pays card, as the cash is all packed into the safe. No, that's ridiculous. I only have cash. My name, hun, can you tell him I only have cash? So I tell her the exact same thing, that we literally can't access the cash once the safe is closed for the day. "Oh, well, can you just pay for it on your card and I'll get my daughter to pay you back?" I tell her that I can't do that. She starts shouting about how unprofessional we are, that the shop is awful because half the items are gone, we were closed, and that she's never coming back. Thank God. She avoids me at school events now, and I honestly feel sorry for her daughter. The stories I hear about this cow are shocking. Icing on the cake? Her name is actually Karen. I have dealt with some fairly entitled people as a claims adjuster. I posted this a while back. I once had the misfortune of taking some high-end insured's claim. When our rich are insured, hit someone or get hit, they typically get a personal adjuster who does everything. However, they send it off to me, something about vacations. In any case, the best part about these claims is how easy they are. You basically say yes, as long as it is not completely bonkers, and write checks later. So our insured hit this lady's Ferrari. The claimant, Mrs. Ferrari lady, wants to take it to the Ferrari dealership. I said fine. She demanded a rental. I told her that was not a problem. Take the Ferrari over there. We'll get you another Ferrari, not a piece of shitness and central like last time. I call the dealership and explain to them how to proceed. Make sure to get her into a rental. Make it nice and easy. Send me the bill. We'll get it handled. At this point I'm basically telling the dealership to proceed forward as they see fit, to shoot first and ask questions later. The last thing I want are problems with one of these claims, and we have the power and authority to do so. Our insureds paid out the ass for the extra service, even for their claimants. The guy on the phone Tells me he'll make sure everything is good. I just gave this guy a golden ticket. He can hand her a $250 a day car rental, and we'll be writing the check, no questions asked. Start repairs as soon as possible. Order the parts today. Don't bug me. Send the bill. He gets it. Life is supposed to be simple. I literally want him to email me the estimate. I send him the check and email him a screenshot. That's it. This claim should be easy. I get a call 2 hours later. The woman is pissed. Maybe she got a dumb tech who didn't hear the news. Nope. Even I couldn't get that lucky. She's out of her mind. So I talk to a rep that is capable of conversing without screaming like a banshee at everything. He explains she has refused to take a rental. I ask why. She wants the same year and color and model. He tells me he just spent 30 minutes calling any dealer in the city, knowing full well I will pay the markup for having the dealership rent a car from a competitor. There are no rental Ferraris in the area that match that request, and none in the nearest 3 cities apparently. I ask our manager. My manager refuses to ship in another Ferrari. Damn it. She goes bonkers and nothing is accomplished. I can't even get a word in. They take the phone conversation into the dealership service manager's office. He asks her why she will not take the rental. After all, this should be easy. And she said this. I need an exact year, make, and model of rental car because I'm going to the country club this Saturday and cannot let everybody know I was in an accident. I could not even process that shit. I was in such a state of shock I said nothing. The level of entitlement was so great I could not even process it. This woman was one of the ultra rich. Even a Sentra would be perfectly serviceable for me. This woman was devastated by not having her life in perfect order. The delay was long enough that they thought I hung up the phone. That's it for today. Holy robot Christ, some people are actually just crazy. Be kind to retail people. Do all the YouTube stuff and I'll see you tomorrow.